Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and it's time to review the Season 1 finale of Ahaaargh-soka, Star Wars Ahsoka on Disney+. A series which I had a lot of hope for before it began. And as it began, I quite enjoyed the first 2 episodes, to be completely honest. But it just went downhill from there, didn't it? And the season finale isn't any better. In fact, it's quite atrocious, to be completely honest. It's a waste of time. Probably the least entertaining episode of the season. It just made no sense whatsoever. But anyway, let's get on with it. This week's episode was directed by Rick Famuyiwa. I don't know how you pronounce his name. But it was him anyway. Who's done some decent episodes of The Mandalorian. Anyway, off we go. Skipped the preamble. So we're into the episode. Right, let's get on with it. So we begin. I'm pressing the wrong button. I've done something, I don't know what. Anyway, right, Star Wars. Right, so we begin. There's is it the Chimera Throne Star Destroyer that looks a bit battered. Why has it become so battered in 10 years? Don't know why. Have they been attacked? Don't know. They never told us. Don't know what's been going on. He's not a very good Grand Admiral if he can't look after his ship, can he? I know he's had no backup or anything, but, you know. Catherine Janeway got her ship back intact after 7 years. From the other side of our galaxy. But never mind. I just don't think he's a very good Grand Admiral. As you can see, they've only got 4 engines working. I don't think we ever see the others going. It's a knackered ship, anyway. But luckily the anti-grav engines are still working, which is maybe what they are. I have no idea. Anyway, so there it is, pierced by the spire. Right. So here we go. We learn that the cargo transfer is complete. We still don't know what they are, but we suspect what they are. We suspect it's his army. It's his dead troopers. And somehow the Night Sisters are going to... Well, we know that they can. They're going to reanimate him, make him an army of the dead. Don't tell Zack Snyder. Anyway, there's Enoch, Captain Enoch, played by... But you wouldn't know. I forgot his bloody name now. Amos from The Expanse. What's his bloody name now? I'll put it there. It's completely forgotten. Wes Chatham. There we go. Wes Chatham. I don't need to put it there now. Played by Wes Chatham, but you never know because you never see his face and his voice is modulated. So it could be anybody. Could be Anthony Daniels for all we know. Anyway, so they're ready to go now, but they don't go for some reason. They've got to do other things first. I think interlocking procedure. What the hell does that mean? I have no idea. Oh, I do. Yes. They're gonna. I thought the logical thing would be for them to fly up into space and dock with the big hyperspace ring, but I don't think this Star Destroyer can go into space. It's that buggered. It can't. I suspect that's the reason. It's just been floating around in the atmosphere of this planet for 10 years, by the looks of it. So they've got to bring the ring down for them to dock with it. Above the surface of the planet. But and then it tells him that it tells Thrawn that they found the location of Ahsoka and her band. But I thought they knew anyway where she was because they'd been and attacked them. But so they know the rough area where they are. And in the last episode, Thrawn had said, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter. They'll be stranded, destroyed or stranded here. It doesn't matter. All Ahsoka has is time. That's what she's lost or whatever. I don't know." He was trying to sound, deep and as though he's a master strategist, but he isn't really. To be completely, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. He just loses all the time. But anyway. Right, what does he say? Oh, right, he tells them to launch 2 TIE fighters to go and go. If they find their mark, tell them to engage, so they're going to destroy them. I thought he didn't care, but obviously he does. So they're going to do that. Meanwhile, now Morgan Elspeth is going to get her prize from the Night Sisters. There we go. For her loyalty. So they're going to turn her into a Night Sister, but not exactly like them. I thought she was going to get all pale skin and stuff, but she doesn't. But she gets the black eyes and the tattoos, or whatever the hell they are. There they go. Does she pledge her, basically her life? He says, yes, of course I do. So got, unbelievable. So there we go. So Claudia Black goes up to her and does some magic. What is this magic? What is this Night Sister magic? Is it something? Is it connected to the Force? Is it something to do with the Force? I've no idea. Does it ever explain it? Has it ever explained it in Clone Wars or Rebels? I don't know. I'm sure somebody now is saying, you're an idiot. You know, it is well explained what the Night Sister magic is, but I can't remember. But there we go. See, she's been changed now. Look, she's one of those now, but she still hasn't got the pale skin or a red cloak. I suppose what she's got on is reddish, maroon, which is, you know, I suppose maroon is appropriate because, spoilers, she gets marooned on this planet, among other things. Right, so, and now they're going to make her a sword out of magic. They spell magic two different ways, by the way. They spell it M-A-G-I-C-K. This is according to the subtitles, by the way. The closed captioning. M-A-G-I-C-K and also M-A-J-I-K. I wonder why they didn't go M-A-J-I-C, which is the famous Majestic 12 acronym. But never mind. That's a UFO reference, in case you didn't know. So they make her a sword. They call it the Sword of whatever. I can't remember. The Sword of Tiggly Biggly Woggly. And so she gets it. Obviously, you know, it looks like a katana because it's Dave Filoni and is obsessed with Japan. Why doesn't he just bugger off to Japan and leave us all be? But he is. So obviously, and it's, you know, it's a sword of metal. I suppose it's a sword of magic, really. But anyway, it can hold its own against lightsabers. So maybe it's Beskar, or maybe it's just because it's magic. I don't know. But there you go. It's got green magic. There's Thrawn, looking smug. I've noticed, by the way, these above his eyebrows. Can you see me mouse pointing? Yes, you can. Seem to be more pronounced in this episode. Earlier episodes, I thought it doesn't look anything like Thrawn. It does look like a blue Elon Musk / Data. But I've noticed in this episode that you know, the area above his eyebrows, which you can see in the animated version, you know, and in, you know, the artwork from the early books and stuff, it's more pronounced. So it does look a little bit more like Thrawn in this one. It just doesn't act like him. Anyway, and there we go. Ahsoka, and this episode is called The Jedi, the Witch and the Warlord, because he thinks he's bloody C.S. Lewis now. Oh, dear. I mean, you can't get any more. You know, the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, the Jedi, the Witch and the Warlord. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm sorry, I'm swearing. I don't often swear, do I? But it really gets me angry. Dave Filoni is such a knobhead. I hate him. Not an original idea in his stupid cowboy hatted. Where's my cowboy hat? I'm going to wear a cowboy hat. Sorry. Dave Filoni can wear a cowboy hat, so can bloody I. Hey, I'm Dave Filoni, and I've got a mad wife. Oh, God. Anyway, right, so we cut to these are the naughty, and they're weird, impervious to anything, little hovering houses, with the Jedi shuttle floating above. There we go. And here we see Ezra making himself a new lightsaber. I thought he didn't need one. I thought he just needed the Force and the blaster. But no, he needs a new lightsaber. They must have like spare Kyber crystals knocking about as well. I thought, you know, that to go and find a special Kyber crystal on X. I forgot the bloody name of them. Me and my brain. The planet that became Starkiller Base. Ixium or something like that. I can't bloody remember. I'll put it there. this cowboy that's sapping me will to live. So anyway, so he's obviously got a spare Kyber crystal for his lightsaber, so he's making one of these with Huyang helping him, and apparently he doesn't know anything about Huyang. What's his face? Kanan Jarrus obviously never told Ezra about Huyang. Why would he? I suppose. You know. But apparently Huyang knew Kanan Jarrus and calls him by his what he was called previously Caleb something else. I can't remember his real name. Caleb Thingamabob. But then he calls him Kanan after that. So obviously, did he know that Caleb? I can't remember what he was called before. Caleb the Doodah became Kanan Jarrus. He must have known that. Maybe Ahsoka told him. I don't know. Anyway, so there we go. So we see Sabine's watching, and this is where Huyang's telling him that he helped Padawans build their, lightsabers in the Jedi Temple. He asks him how old he is, but he doesn't say. He just says, old enough for whatever. He's at least 500 years old. I've seen some people online saying he's 25,000 years old. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, but he's out of warranty, however old he is. But there he is, asking him how old he is, but he don't tell him. And then she's watching, and then he talks to her, and then she's gone. But anyways, finishes his lightsaber. There we go, a nice lightsaber there. Why didn't... obviously, he's letting Sabine keep his old lightsaber. He just made himself a new one, just like that, because it's easy. It's easy to make lightsabers, isn't it? But anyway, as I said, they must have spare Kyber crystals. I thought the Empire had collected them all for the Death Star and stuff, but never mind. I suppose it could be argued that where did Luke get his Kyber crystal for his green lightsaber, in Return of the Jedi? So never mind. Don't overthink it, Steve. Don't overthink it. Alright, she goes outside and we see Ahsoka. And he said Chakotay for some reason then, because I was thinking of Voyager from earlier on. Ahsoka's there meditating upon the ship. And they're having a little... And one of their chats that are basically 1 or 2 word responses. Are you okay? Yeah, great, fine. With big gaps in between. And the kind of... I don't know, they don't really broach it, but... I think this is supposed to be some kind of apology from Sabine for basically playing the entire Star Wars galaxy at risk for her just going to want to find Ezra. But she doesn't really apologise, because she can't, because she's a woman. And it's Disney Star Wars. And Ahsoka just says, whatever. Anyway. Then they hear the noise of TIE fighters. Remember Thrawn sent out 2 TIE fighters. So here they come. In a minute, there we go. In a minute. I don't know. They keep looking off into the distance. They keep thinking they're hearing TIE fighters. Oh, have you kept up with your training? And I think she said she has. By the way, anyway, Ezra arrives. We learn that the Force is with Sabine later on. Spoilers. But only after something particular happens, and we'll get to that, and I'll probably have a laugh and a giggle. But anyway, right, the TIE fighters arrive. Sabine goes back into the starfighter. Ezra and Ahsoka stay outside. Why? Because the TIE fighters attack the shuttle and they've hit it. You see the smoke there, and it's going to crash down onto the Noti. But Ezra and Ahsoka use the Force to keep it aloft. And Sabine gets the engines going, and they manage to fly the ship away from the Noti. There's the TIE fighters again. Pew, 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 pew. And so she hits the engines, and luckily the TIE fighters are just so close together, a Jedi shuttle wingspan apart. But there we go. There you go. They get destroyed by the ship. And the TIE fighter pilots are that well trained, they just go, ah, instead of like going, ah, and getting out of the way. And then the shuttle crashes. So there it is, it's crashed. But, you know, obviously Sabine and Hu Yang are fine. Hu Yang's there looking upon the wreckage. Don't worry, it doesn't stay crashed for long. Anyway, so they say, oh, there you go, she says, got 'em. Girl boss. They notice some of their, you know, little hovering houses have been damaged. But luckily, they're good with mending things, are the naughty. You know, because they're the Jawas of this planet. You know, basically, that's what they are. Right, so anyway, they've so this will slow us down. So only if it lets us. But they've got to head for Thrawn. Here we go. Thrawn's been told by Enoch. I don't know why they're giving him that name. Anyway, saying that the TIE fighters have engaged the enemy and then they lost contact, and the Jedi shuttle's been grounded or whatever he says. And Thrawn says, oh, "Cool. We'll assume that the TIE fighters are lost. Give the captain, what's its face? You know, a commendation or whatever." There we go. Mark there, Captain, for a citation. I presume that means... I presume that's a good thing. It can also be a bad thing, can't it, a citation? You know, if you stop for speeding and the police officer, I'm going to give you a citation for this, that's not a good thing. But I presume this is a good thing. Giving him, as I said, an honour for giving his life. But anyway. Right, so they're looking on this holographic map and they see where... So show me where they are now, and then this moves about, 100 feet. It shows where they are. And then he says, we'll prepare for a ground assault, because he thinks he's General Raikan. A ground assault. There's only 3 of them. It's not like a battalion of rebel troopers coming to attack them. But there you go, there's only 3 of them. On 2 howlers. There they are, racing towards the Star Destroyer. Meanwhile, Hu Yang and the naughty are setting about repairing the shuttle. Has it got a name? Has this shuttle got a name? I've no idea. Still don't know. Anyway, there's the Chimera looking badly damaged. What's all this? Is this supposed to be all gold stuff? Is it where they've repaired it or whatever? I don't bloody know. Here's the night troopers. These are all volunteers, apparently. What's happened to him? Why has he got that around his head? Is that just bad compositing? But never mind. Because obviously they're on the volume, aren't they? I'm one of these that I don't really dislike the volume, but that looks terrible, doesn't it? Really bad compositing. But apparently these are volunteers. These are volunteers that are going to become zombie stormtroopers later on. I suppose actual proper night troopers. Apparently they're alive now. Because remember previous episodes when we saw... Sorry, I'm not used to wearing this hat. When we saw Marok get killed and all the smoke came out of him. And we're all saying, oh, right, fair enough. He's obviously been brought back to life, or he's something created by the Night Sisters, with Night Sisters magic. Pardon me. And then we thought, oh, these stormtroopers, because they were called night troopers in the subtitles, it's told us. I didn't say it on screen, it just said it in the subtitles. And I still don't know if they call them night troopers, audibly. In this. They could do, I don't know. Can't remember. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, yes. We saw the night, we assumed, never assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. So we presumed that these were brought back to life using Night Sister magic. Because they look a bit done in, don't they? As I said before, why is Thrawn allowing his soldiers to look so knackered and dirty? Thrawn is like this perfectionist officer, isn't he? Everything should be pristine. But these aren't. These stormtroopers aren't, are they? So we're assuming are they supposed to look kind of rotten, as though they're like undead? People calling them undead stormtroopers. But they're not, apparently. But there will be in this episode. Right, so... anyway, basically, Morgan Elspeth is... she's got to stay behind. So they're getting ready to leave now in the Chimera. I think the ring's come down now and it's docking. And they're getting ready to leave, and Morgan has got to stay behind with the volunteer night troopers to delay the Jedi who are coming. So here they come. I'm going to see it now. There we go. Now we see the ring and the look. You know, it looks cool, doesn't it? I must admit, it does look cool. It's not, you know, it's not terrible from beginning to end. There are some little cool bits, but most of it's crap. No, he's taking the Star Destroyer with him. We know that. I mean, they didn't build that huge hyperspace ring, you know, just for nothing, did they? We all knew that was going to be happening, but they've got to tell us, you know, because you know it's tell, don't show, isn't it, in modern Hollywood storytelling. And sometimes it's tell and show. They never can just show and let you make up your own mind. But we all knew it anyway. Whatever. Yes, I think... this is Huyang on the radio to... what's her face? Ahsoka. Telling her that, you know, that repairs are going well and, you know, and all that. And she said she's got faith in him to... Or it. Can you say him? He's not a him, is he? He's a droid, isn't he? Whatever. Got faith in him to get the shuttle back in working order in time. Right, so they're going through the front door. Right, so they're charging towards the spire. And they've got and he says, rain hellfire upon them. Why did they do that, you know, before? You know, instead of sending TIE fighters and soldiers to their doom, why don't they just do this with them when they were with the Nota? You know, you could have just flown the Star Destroyer over them, rained hellfire upon them, but you know, didn't. You know, that's too easy, isn't it? It's Dr. Evil, isn't it? Right, so here we go. So they're charging towards it's charge of the Light Brigade, and here we go. Hellfire's raining down. Look, turbo lasers. Pew pew pew. Look. She says, Ezra, get the door. By the way, you know, Sabine's got a helmet back. She hasn't got a jetpack. Why has it? Did something happen to her jetpack? I can't remember what happened to her jetpack. But she hasn't got it anymore, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just on the shuttle. I don't know. I don't know if she's had it at all this season. I honestly can't remember. I think she has. I'm sure she's had a jetpack, hasn't she, at some point? Anyway, whatever. She hasn't got it here. But she's got a helmet back. Anyway, Ahsoka says, Ezra, get the door. So he starts using the Force. And then she says, Sabine, or somebody says, he might say it, Sabine, help me. Or Ahsoka says, Sabine, help him. Whatever. And I'm thinking, but she hasn't got the Force, you know. But she does. But we're not sure here. But she does help. She puts her hand out. He's watching. Here we go. We see they're both doing stuff, and the door's about to open. There we go. The door starts opening, and they get through just in time. I think I've missed it. Because it skips too far. Come on. There we go. They just get through in time, just as the door clangs shut, in Tomb Raider style. Did Sabine help him then? I don't think she did, because there's a thing coming up that kind of activates her Force powers in a bit. So he looks a bit miffed that they've got inside, but you know, it's all part of the plan with Thrawn, isn't it? So there you go. These are the volunteers. They come down to cut off or to delay the Jedi. I'm not sure if Thrawn thinks that they'll actually defeat him, but they're there to delay him at least, aren't they? So here we go. Blasters start blasting. And Ahsoka Sabine starts using a lightsaber, and obviously not doing very well because she hasn't got the Force yet. And Ahsoka says, Sabine, use your blasters. So she does. So she starts using the blasters, and the two Jedi using their lightsabers. There we go. See, they're all falling. They're killing all the stormtroopers. And that's the last two. Look, she draws them towards them, kills them. And go, cool. Meanwhile, the Night Sisters are doing their magic. saying, weird words. I won't say them out loud in case I summon a demon. But there we go. The green magic goes into the stormtroopers and they rise from the dead. Rise, rise, woke. And then we hear eerie creaking as the zombies rise. Because they do act like zombies as well, they even moan. But then they start shooting again. And they're knocking them down, but they just get back up again. Because they get knocked down, but they get back up again. Tube thumping. But luckily, there's doors, just handy doors, just blocking off because they start coming from two directions. And luckily, there's two doors that they can lightsaber the controls of and make them come down. But here we go. See, there's one coming from that direction. He actually grabs hold of Ezra. There he goes. Look, Sabine. I think it's Sabine. Sabine shoots him in a minute. There we go. Oh no, she gets a lightsaber out. I forgot, and she slashes him. There we go. And I'm expecting all green smoke to come out, but it doesn't because he just gets back up again. But they close the doors, and so they're safe for a little while. Because luckily those big, blast doors are there. So they head up the stairs. The Chimera's attaching to the hyperspace ring now. We're learning that the Jedi are advancing swiftly. So it's up to Morgan Elsbeth to stay behind. Now she knows she's doomed now. She's doomed to stay on this planet. And he says for the Empire, and she says for Dathomir. Don't know why, she just does. Because she's from Dathomir. But anyway, so there we go. So as you can see, she's ready to give her life, etc. Here we go. The stormtroopers get through the door. Look, they just stop and look. So we can look. Boom. Like in A New Hope a bit, isn't it? They come running through. Right, so they get to this chamber where Morgan Elspeth is, and Ahsoka tells them to go get aboard the Chimera, and she'll handle Morgan Le Fay. I know it's not, but she'll handle her. And there she is with a katana, because it's Japanese. Was it this bit, or is it later on? There's one bit anyway where Thrawn talks about Ronin. I can't remember where it was now. But he talks about, a Ronin. And I thought, no, a Ronin is like a specifically Japanese thing. I hate Dave Filoni. He's obsessed with Japan. Bringing Japan into the bloody Star Wars universe, overtly. I mean, George Lucas, were inspired by some Japanese things. Or he's, not necessarily him, but maybe his production designers and stuff were inspired by, Japanese design elements. Particularly in Darth Vader's uniform and stuff like that, wasn't it? Not uniform, costume, whatever, armour. But it wasn't specifically called Japanese. Yes, I know Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi is a Japanese, clothing thing, isn't it? But, that's just a word. Anyway, so they're going to fight now. Zoom, there we go. Actually, this fight isn't that bad. I don't know if it's just her. Is it Diane Lee Insanato, or whatever she's called? Making Rosario Dawson look good. In much the same way that... look better. In much the same way that Hayden Christensen did. But it's not too bad. There's some speedy little bits. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Anyway, they're fighting away, and she actually gets one of her lightsabers broken. Does Ahsoka. Anyway, they come up to these... I think these are just described as night troopers, but I thought they were like death troopers, like we saw in Rogue One. But these seem harder to kill than the others. And we get a glimpse of one of them's face, and they're like moaning and stuff. So I wonder if these have been like undead for quite some time. But we don't see the full face. But we see it's like looks a bit, a bit knackered. Anyway, they're fighting away with these. There we go. The the Chimera's ready to leave, and it starts lifting up. Night Trooper snarling. And there we go. We see a bit of his face there. Look, very Lord of the Rings orcish, innit? Or oh god, no. The others. My brain's really not working today. It's this hat. It's this Dave Filoni hat. It's sapping me will to live. What they call them now? The race of orcs and goblin men. Oh god, I'll put it there. You know what I mean? And it's not the only time in this episode he rips off Lord of the Rings. Anyway, so they're fighting those, and she basically, I think she shoots him in the head or whatever. I don't know what she does with him. And Ezra decapitates the other one. Oh, she uses the Force. That was it. Oh, this is the bit. Sorry, I forgot. This is the part where her Force abilities come to the fore, because essentially she's been erotically asphyxiated by this zombie. Let's go back a bit more. There you go. She's been erotically asphyxiated by this zombie, and it activates her Force powers. You see her lightsabers there on the floor, and look, it's like how it's quite scary, isn't it? Urukai, we got there. I suppose reminiscent of those, I suppose, or more like orcs. Anyway, so this autoerotic asphyxiation, it activates her Force powers, and her lightsaber flies into her hand, and she goes through his head. And Ezra decapitates the other one, so that's them sorted. Meanwhile, the other night troopers rush to the aid of Morgan, so she's got all that to deal with as Ahsoka. Right, so anyway, it starts lifting off now. Look, it's moving away from them. Can you see? And these stormtroopers are there shooting at them. And the cat says, "I can't make that jump, it's too far." And Sabine, who now is like super proficient in the Force all of a sudden, says, "You jump and I'll push you." Because it's a video game. You can like double jump now. That's what it looks like. So he says, "Okay," eventually. There we go. "I can do this," she's telling him. So the longer you hesitate, the harder this gets. So he does his jump. And as he's jumping, she gives him a Force push. So he does a double jump. He thinks it's, Star Wars, Jedi Survivor or whatever. There we go. And he leaps up. He's medic, don't worry. He's hanging on. There we go. He climbs up, takes out these stormtroopers. By the way, before that, there we go. We see that shuttle again. Just leaving that there for us to look at. There's some nice little gunships there and a couple of TIE fighters. But we see that shuttle again. Later, where were we? Right, so he's dealt with them, and now she's got to jump, and Ezra's saying, "Come on, it's your turn," because he were going to pull her onto the ship, but she doesn't go. So Ezra's on the Chimera by himself. Sabine goes to help Ahsoka, because Ahsoka's starting to lose. I think it's not she's getting tired or what, I don't know, but there we go. A bit of awkwardness. But now she's down to one lightsaber, look. Anyway, the Chimera's taking off now and getting ready to leave. And then she's telling her that she's alone, but she's not, because Sabine's there. Look, Sabine, because she's got the Force and stuff. And they're struggling to fight against all these stormtroopers. And I'm thinking, they're on top of this huge spire. Why don't they just do like a Force push? And just push all the stormtroopers off the edge? I mean, they might not die, because the zombies out there, but they'll plummet down, and they're quite high up. It'll take them a while to get back up again, won't it? Tub thumping again. But anyway, they don't. They just beat them, traditionally. And Ahsoka kills Morgan Elspeth. She doesn't run her through, because that obviously, running her through doesn't kill people with a lightsaber. She slashes across her stomach and kills her. But even that didn't kill. Even that's not necessarily going to kill you, is it? Essentially, but I think she's dead. There we go. Be told, Morgan is dead. Right, so the Chimera's lifting off, as you can see. It's lifting away from the spire now, and Ezra hears over the night trooper's radio that reinforcements have been dispatched, and he picks up the radio and says, Roger and out, you know, pretending to be the night trooper. And then he drags the trooper's body away. Then he says thanks to the heads up. He drags the trooper's body away, and I was thinking, all right, he's going to get disguised as a stormtrooper. And then I forgot about it. I genuinely forgot about that until later on. But anyway, so they're on top of this spire. So they're still rising up. Why don't they just push them all off? But they've got to go running. The stormtroopers start chasing them. And Thrawn tells them to demolish the spire. So they start shooting at the spire, look. Trying to bring it down. All the stormtroopers are going to shoot. They start shooting at Ahsoka and Sabine. They jump off the edge, and obviously the shuttle's there for them to land on. And they get back aboard, and they start heading after the Chimera. And as you see, there's the spires collapsing. So, you know, Morgan could survive. You never know, do you? I mean, well, you don't. You never know, do you? Never say never. But anyway, I mean, all those zombie stormtroopers could still be alive, you know. They keep getting back up, don't they? So they're only falling, aren't they? Buried under rubble. They might get back out again. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Right, so they're heading after the Chimera. And they're going to fly out of the atmosphere. And there you go, they're told that the shuttle's on its way. Thrawn gloats at her for a bit. But they're heading into hyperspace now, so off they go. And Ahsoka and Sabine are trapped there now. And I thought, well, all they've got to do is call some whales. I'm sure some Purgils will be around, you know, they'll be there, you know, before very long. By the way, what happened to the minefield that were, you know, it's on the way? It's supposed to be there, isn't it? Blocking the minefield. Obviously they deactivated. They must have deactivated the mines, but they didn't tell us, did they? They usually tell us stuff, don't they? Or they didn't show us them deactivating the mines. Maybe they'd all blown up, I don't know. But we never saw the mines again, because we didn't need to. Anyway, so they've gone. They're heading, the Chimera's heading back to the Star Wars galaxy now. And Sabine and Ahsoka are stuck in this one. There we see the Naughty, you know, sorting themselves out. And Ahsoka and Sabine come back on the Howlers. I don't know why, but the shuttle's there. The shuttle flies over. There you go, just saw a glimpse of it there. And so we presume that they're going to stay here with the Naughty. And then we see the owl. We hear a noise, and we see, remember the owl that you were always seeing in Rebels. I don't know if it's got a name. I presume it has. It's Hegwig. Or Hedwig, I don't know. That owl flies off in a particular direction. So I thought, well, they'll be heading off in that direction then. That's going to take us somewhere. And then we see this person here, and I thought, oh, who's this? And when I saw it, I thought, I'd forgot about these. I forgot about her and Bale and Skull. So she's there. She's caught up with the nomads. There they are. And she gets a lightsaber out and ignites it. And I don't know if that's supposed to rally them. I don't know, but she does that. And then we see Bale and Skull, who's in another Lord of the Rings rip-off scene. You know, he's on top of those big statues. I can't remember the pillars of whatever. And he's standing atop them, looking out over the vista beyond. I don't know, it's just Lord of the Rings, isn't it? I tell you, not an original thought in their heads. Anyway, so he's looking out over there for whatever reason. He's supposed to be he's on his own quest now, isn't he? For what? No idea. But they're buggered for season 2 now, aren't they? Because Ray Stevens is no longer with us. So is he going to die off screen between seasons, or they're just going to recast him? Who's going to take over? That's the big question now, isn't it? If Bale and Skull's in season 2, who's going to play him? Who's going to play him? Don't know. Somebody with the gravitas of Ray Stevenson. I was thinking for some reason Craig Fairbrass popped in my head, because I've seen him in something else recently. What have I seen him in? But he doesn't have the the gravity. He's not as good an actor as Ray Stevenson, is he? But he's British. And he's quite a big chap. What have I seen him in? I can't bloody remember. Was it John Wick or was it The Continental or something else? It was pretty good anyway, what I saw him in. Anyway, whatever. So who's going to play Bale and Skull in season 2? There he's looking over the vista, looking over Middle-earth. Are they the Misty Mountains? So obviously there's something over there he's looking for. Whatever it is, we don't know. I presume there's a passage of time now, because it took them a while, didn't it, for them to get to the other galaxy? You know, a day or two. A day at least. So obviously a passage of time. Chimeras arrived at Dathomir, and they start looking concerned for some reason, and then we get a look at the cargo. It's dead bodies, isn't it? They're going to rise them up, aren't they? They're going to have an undead army. Right, so anyway, here we are. I think we're at Coruscant here now with the Republic fleet and this Imperial shuttle. Remember the one that we saw in the Chimera's hangar bay. It's flown out. We said we didn't see what happened, but we didn't see how it flew out without being detected. But whatever. Anyway, it's flying into the. I presume this is home one. It comes into land. Hera and Chopper and all the others come to greet it. It opens up, and a stormtrooper comes out. Chopper seems to know who this is. And I said I'd forgotten. I'd forgot. Chopper goes wheeling up to this stormtrooper with his hands up, and he pats Chopper, and then takes his helmet off, and it's there we go. It's Ezra. And I'd forgotten it. I even said it out loud as we were watching it to nobody because I was watching it alone. That he's going to disguise himself as a stormtrooper, and then I promptly forgot all about that because I saw this stormtrooper come out. I thought, it's going to be a message from Thrawn. He's going to do like a hologram thing with Thrawn appearing and say, I am here to give you a warning that I have returned or whatever. But no, it's Ezra. It's Ezra. So how did he get off the Chimera without being, detected or, pursued by TIE fighters? Don't know. Maybe they just let him go. Don't know. Maybe he's working for Thrawn. Is he heck? Don't give him that much credit. So Ezra is reunited with Hera. There we go. So basically they've just done a switch, haven't they? They've just done a switch. All those that were in this other galaxy are now in the Star Wars galaxy, and those that were in the Star Wars galaxy then set off to the other one are stuck, stranded. They're not really, they've just got to find some Purgils, but whatever. Stranded in this other galaxy. So anyway, so they're getting ready to bed down for the night, and Sabine looks out and she thinks she sees something. He says it's just shadows in the stars or something like that. I thought, Dave Filoni thought for ages about that, didn't he? He thought, that sounds cool. But, anyway. But, instead of saying Thrawn's won and got back to our galaxy and all hell's going to break loose, she says, Ezra's got home. There's always, a silver lining, I suppose. Ahsoka's a glasses half full kind of person. But it's time to move on. I don't know where they're going. This is where she sees something. I thought she was going to see some Purgil. The shadows of some Purgil moving through the sky. But I don't think we did. Nothing. Oh, that's where she says it. Nothing. There you go. Shadows in the starlight. I thought Dave Filoni got all giddy when he wrote that. When that came into his mind and he wrote it, on his laptop. Ooh, that sounds good. That's a good last line. And then hopeful music plays. By the way, the score's pretty good. By the way, Kevin Kiner, much like John Williams, is a bright part of modern Star Wars. But anyway, Ahsoka's looking out, then she follows her, and then we see, there we go, the Force Ghost of Anakin watching on. So, and he has a little smile as well as we zoom in. So, is he going to help them, or is he just there for whatever reason? Why isn't Obi-Wan with him? Why isn't Yoda with him? We saw them all together in Return of the Jedi. And that's it. That's the end. That's the end of season 1. So they're stuck in that galaxy. I was hoping there were going to be an end credit sequence, but there isn't. It just goes on. I think the music's different at the end. Kind of somber. A bit more somber. But anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of season 1. Not very good. Not very good at all. Huge plot holes, you know, and people just getting abilities just when they needed to. That could be the worst episode of the season. Yes, it had lots of action and stuff, but just action for action's sake is there's no point, is there? Pardon me. So, you know, it were rubbish. It were rubbish. They've just swapped over the characters. So now all the ones that were lost in the other galaxy are now in the Star Wars galaxy, and all the ones that were in the Star Wars galaxy are now in the new galaxy. I wonder if they're going to give it a name. Don't know. So what's going to happen now? In season 2, we're still going to be switching between galaxies now, seeing what's going on in the Star Wars galaxy, and then seeing what Ahsoka and Sabine are getting up to in the other galaxy. Or in episode 1 of season 2, are they just going to hitch a ride with some Purgles and get back straight away? You never know, do you? You never know. You never know. By the way, I was wrong, wasn't I? Did I say in the last episode that Ezra were going to choose to stay with the naughty and say that that's his home? I thought they were going to do that. But as I said, I've said before, that's giving them too much credit, isn't it, really, I suppose, the writers, or writer. Yeah, so it's not great. So I was wrong about that. So I admit that. Whatever, who cares? Not me. And what's Balin looking for? Don't know. And who's going to play him in season 2? Don't know. Or they're just going to deep fake him, which seems a bit much, doesn't it, for a character we've only just met. They'll recast him, won't they? Or they'll do something where he gets injured. They'll do a scene where there's a deep fake Ray Stevenson and he's fighting against somebody, you know, some monster or something, and he gets slashed across his face, or something happens, so he's got to wear a mask, much like Enoch wears a mask. Why does Enoch wear a mask? I don't know, but you know, something like that. Will they do that so they can recast, but we'll never see his face? I don't know. Anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of season 1. A bit meh, wasn't it, to be honest? As I said, I quite liked the first 2 episodes. They were fine, but it kind of started going downhill after that. And this episode, I didn't like it. To be honest, I didn't like it at all, to be honest. It was just annoying me. Why didn't they just push those stormtroopers off that spire using the Force? You know, if she was suddenly so good with the Force, all of a sudden. She's like Rey, wasn't she? She was like Rey in The Force Awakens. Suddenly Rey were amazing with the Force, all of a sudden. And suddenly Sabine's good with the Force, all of a sudden. After all season not being able to use it. So this one's getting a 4 out of 10 from me. 4 out of 10. Worst episode of the season. Probably one of the worst. What do I call it? Last episode. What's the word for a last episode? I tell you, this cowboy hat is sapping my brain energy. Not climax. What they call it? What they call the last episode of a season? My brain is not working. I'm a zombie. I'm a Night Sister zombie. Anyway, the last episode probably I've ever seen, because nothing happened. Nothing of worth happened. Much like in The Last Jedi, nothing of worth happened in that. And this is just space fillers. They're just placeholder episodes. That's all. Disney Plus, Star Wars Disney Plus now is just going to be placeholders for the film that's coming up, because everything will happen in the film if it gets made. I'm guessing the Dave Filoni film will get made. The others, the Rey film, the other one, James Mangold one, I don't think those will get made. Obviously the Taika Waititi one probably won't get made. I think Bob Iger's put them on ice anyway, haven't they? But I don't think the Ray one will get made. But I think the Dave Filoni one probably will. But it may. I'm thinking, will it be a theatrical film or will it be a Disney Plus film? Don't know. But anyway, yeah, 4 out of 10 is getting rubbish. Rubbish. I'm going to be kind then and say, well, not rubbish, just not very good. No, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. So we'll leave it there. Not worth watching, to be completely honest. A waste of time. A waste of time. But, if you like pew-pews and lightsabers, yeah, whatever. But if you want a story, look somewhere else, because it's just not a very good story, is it? Right, so we'll leave it there. So, until next season, whenever that is, thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other, and until next time, I'll say the Yeehaw.